Hello and welcome to the latest episode of the Kansas Moonshot Podcast, where we are shining the spotlight on amazing things happening in schools across the state. Whether you're one of the Mercury, Gemini, or Apollo schools launching some amazing redesign plans, or a teacher trying to do something a little different, I want to share your story. The goal is to celebrate the awesomeness all around us. All right, in this mini episode, I'm going to talk about one-word goals. Now, I used to make yearly resolutions, and then I found myself by the end of January giving up on those. Like, oh, you know what? I'm going to run 1 mile every day. Oh, and then it gets cold out, and I'm like, I'm done. Some of you may be thinking that right now. You made some resolutions in January, and you've already given up on them. If you are still going strong on your New Year's resolutions, kudos to you. Great job. Keep it up. You're awesome and amazing. But if you're like me and you abandon some of those resolutions you made, here's a chance to come up with a resolution that you can stick to. Now, I wasn't originally going to do this because I wasn't sure if I could come up with a one-word goal that I could stick with. So the way a one-word goal works is you come up with one word that's going to define everything you do for the year. It's kind of like that anchor point. Now, the problem with it is it's not like a SMART goal where you can measure the outcome and determine if you were successful with it. It's more like a mission statement. So I frame it as, what is my mission for this year? What is the one thing that I can tie every single thing I do to make sure I am grounded in something that is going to make my life and the people around me's lives better? And so I wasn't sure, I couldn't come up with a word, so I was like, I'm not going to make a one-word goal this year. Last year, my one-word goal was focus, and it helped me frame everything I was going to do to make sure I was focused on the task at hand. Instead of all of the 100 different projects I wanted to do, I tried to narrow down my focus. And then it hit me. So this year, my goal is the word intentional. And to me, being intentional means that everything I do has a purpose. And it doesn't have to be work related. That's the most important thing for me is I'm going to try to be intentional with when I'm at work, getting the work done. Too many times I get sucked into emails that aren't really super important, or I get caught up in a conversation that I want to have. And if that is important at the moment, I will be intentional about that. But if it is not important and intent at that moment, I'm going to set it aside. Because life is too short to spend it on things that aren't super important. That also means that there are times when I'm going to set aside my schoolwork and go have a conversation with a colleague because I need to build that community and that connection. And that's okay. But I'm going to be intentional about it. I'm going to make sure that, for example, one way I'm being intentional is I've got a spreadsheet right now, and each day I'm trying to make sure that I am thankful and show that thanks to someone else. So, for example, I've sent out some thank you cards. I made cookies for the custodial staff last week because they came in on a Sunday and shoveled all the sidewalks, and it was amazing. So I'm just being very intentional in how I give thanks. I'm also being intentional as many nights as I can, being at home and putting my kids to bed. Because that is super important to me. And I'm making an intentional effort in that moment of time that time is dedicated to them. I've set aside some of the Twitter chats I do to make room for this thing that I think I want to be super intentional about. I'm being intentional when I'm working with my students in my classroom. What is the thing that they need the most? Because there are 40 plus standards I need to cover. There's reading standards, writing standards, speaking and listening standards. They need free choice reading. And so I'm trying to narrow it down is what is the most important thing at this moment in time, and how can I intentionally cover that? Whether it's, I'm going to be intentional with this time is going to be dedicated to free reading time. And I'm going to be intentional about that. And I'm going to make sure that I guarantee that. And nothing else can encroach upon that time because it's sacred. I'm going to be intentional about my writing instruction. How can I really narrow in on what the kids need? So that's my one-word goal. My one-word goal is to be intentional in everything I do. It's on my whiteboard so that I see it every morning, that I want to make sure that every interaction I have is intentional and worthwhile. That includes time for nothing, meaning I am very intentional now about, at a certain point, I realize at night I'm not being productive. And once I hit that moment where I'm not being productive, I am intentional about, I'm going to go sit down, I'm going to watch something for a couple of minutes, enjoy the moment to watch a sitcom, something that brings me joy, and then I'm going to go to bed. I'm trying to be very intentional in my actions, and to make sure that the time is devoted. Otherwise, you get sucked into stuff that you don't care about, you don't want to devote your time to, it's not important to you, and it doesn't bring you joy. So, I challenge you right now to go out and figure out what is your one-word goal for the rest of the 2020 school year. Okay, 2019-2020 school year, between now and the end of May or June, what is your goal? What are you going to tie everything you do to make sure that you are the best version of you and you help your kids and everyone around you be the best version of themselves? So that's all I've got. Until next time, and I want you to post it on Twitter with a new hashtag I've started using called AwesomeSauceEDU. So hashtag AwesomeSauceEDU. It's a hashtag I'm adding to all of my posts. Here's a little self-promotion, but I do have a book coming up this year. It should be published. I'm not sure when, but the publisher is currently working on it. I just submitted my most recent draft. I'm super excited about it, but it's all anchored around the term awesome sauce. So share your one-word goal with the hashtag AwesomeSauceEDU. Let people know, and that way we can all be in this together. That is all I've got for this mini episode. As always, you guys are amazing. Until next time, book it forward and be awesome. For more information about this episode, check out my website, MrStockRocks.com. If you know someone doing something awesome in their classroom, let me know about it. I'd love to have them on the show. You can email me at teachlikeaninja@gmail.com or follow me on Twitter at teachlikeaninja. I've been your host, Josh Stock, 6th grade language arts teacher and self-proclaimed awesomeness expert. Until next time, book it forward and be awesome.